Your Honor, I am innocent. Please, I beg you to reconsider the evidence.
2 weeks after her expulsion, the police returned. This time, they came with a warrant. Ure was arrested in front of her parents. Her mother collapsed instantly, screaming her name. Her father stood frozen, unable to process what was happening. At the police station, Ure was interrogated for hours. She broke down repeatedly, confessing everything: how she met Mma, how she was introduced to the life of runs, how she skipped lectures, and how she followed Mma to hotels, and how the incident happened. But confession did not free her. The law does not judge intention, it judges outcomes. A man died. Her identity card was found at the scene. Witnesses placed her in the room. She was charged with manslaughter after autopsy reports confirmed severe head trauma. The court proceedings lasted almost 1 year. Every court appearance was torture. Ure stood in the dock, dressed in plain clothes, thinner and quieter than the vibrant girl she once was. Her eyes were always swollen from crying. Her hands shook whenever the judge entered. The prosecution painted a clear picture: a young student lured into a reckless lifestyle of runs. The defense tried to argue that the incident was accidental, that there was no intention to hurt anyone. But the judge was firm. This court recognizes that the accused may not have planned the incident. However, her reckless lifestyle and criminal association directly led to the loss of a human life. When the verdict came, the courtroom went silent, and Mma screamed.
In the matter part of this court, I hereby pass the verdict guilty as charged.
Her mother fainted again. Her father wept openly for the first time in his life. Ure was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment with hard labor. At age 20, her life was effectively over. Instead of lecture halls, she was sent to prison. Instead of graduation gown, she wore prison uniform. Instead of textbooks, she carried buckets and brooms. Her first night in prison was the worst. She cried until her throat burned. She begged for time to reverse her choices. She begged God for forgiveness, but time does not move backwards. In prison, she met women with stories similar to hers, girls who wanted quick money, who wanted to belong, who followed the wrong friends. Some were in for robbery, some for fraud, some for murder. Ure realized too late that she was not special, just another victim of bad choices. Ure's imprisonment did not punish her alone, it punished her entire family. Her mother aged rapidly. Her hair turned gray within a year. She stopped attending women meetings at church because people whispered behind her back. That is the mother of the girl who killed a man. Her father lost respect in the community. People no longer invited him to community meetings. Business partners distanced themselves from him. Ure's younger siblings were mocked in school. Your sister is in prison, murderer's family. One of them dropped out due to shame. The family name, built over generations, was turned in a single year. Inside the prison, Ure had too much time to think. She remembered the day she admired Mma's flashy lifestyle. She remembered the first man she followed for money. She remembered ignoring her conscience. All for what? Designer clothes that faded, hotel nights that ended, fake friends who disappeared, a freedom she would not see again for many years. Ure's story became a cautionary tale in the university she once attended. Freshers were warned, choose your friends wisely. Do not envy reckless lifestyles. Quick money destroys slowly. While Ure stayed to face the law, Mma ran to Lagos, a city whose vastness promised the one thing she desperately needed. In Lagos, nobody cared about your background. Nobody asked where you came from. Nobody knew your lies unless you told them. It was a perfect place for Mma to start over. She arrived at Ojuelegba with just 17,000 naira left in her purse, a suitcase, and a heart heavy with fear. Lagos hit her like a slap. Noise everywhere, crowded buses, people pushing, shouting, hustling, smells of fuel and roasted corn. Mma found a small lodge in Surulere, rented a shared room, and started all over again. At first, she told herself Lagos would be different. She would look for a job. She would keep a low profile. She would forget all she had done. But the money finished fast, and jobs were scarce, especially for a girl with no real documents. So the old life dragged her back, not because she wanted it, but because she didn't see another way out. At night, she went to clubs, pretending to be a student from a neighboring polytechnic. She entertained men again, made money again, and buried guilt again. Yet, something was different now. Every time she laughed at a man's joke, she remembered Ure's tears and possible expulsion from the university. Every time a man touched her hand, she remembered the lifeless body of the businessman in Owerri. Every time she bought an expensive wig, she remembered her poor parents in the village. The ghost followed her everywhere. One evening, after leaving a client's house in Lekki, she checked her phone and saw a viral headline: University student expelled in connection with hotel debt. Accomplice still at large. Her heart raced, her breath shortened, her entire body trembled. She turned off her phone immediately. She knew she couldn't stay in Lagos forever. She moved again, this time to Port Harcourt. But the guilt didn't leave. The nightmares didn't stop. She changed phone and numbers repeatedly. She avoided social gatherings. She stopped making friends. The glamorous Mma we once knew died slowly, replaced by a fearful, lonely girl who lived in hiding. For the very first time in her life, she regretted everything. She cried uncontrollably. She suddenly realized she had destroyed her own life while trying to escape poverty. She remembered her family, her little village, her dreams of becoming a lawyer. Everything she ran from was where she belonged. That night, she made a decision that took all the courage she had left. She went back home. When she arrived at Kodo, she looked nothing like the bright girl who left 3 years earlier. She was thinner, her eyes were tired, her voice was weak, her confidence was gone. Her parents cried when they saw her. They didn't ask questions, they simply held her. For the first time in years, Mma slept peacefully on the same mat she had left behind. She helped her mother sell roasted maize. She joined a small women's group that assisted young girls with counseling. She kept her past to herself. She never forgot Uri. She prayed for her. One night, Mma remembered the hotel room, not just the argument, but her phone. That night, when the disagreement began, Mma had been recording herself casually on her phone, joking earlier about her outfit. In the chaos that followed, the phone slipped onto the sofa, its camera still recording. She had forgotten about it completely. Out of fear, she had never checked the file again. Her hands shook as she searched through old backups, and there it was. A short, grainy video, but clear enough. It showed the argument escalating. It showed the man's aggression. It showed the push that caused him to lose balance. The video showed clearly that Ure did not strike the fatal blow. For the first time in years, Mma did not run. She knew what the law demanded now, not fear, but truth. Mma picked courage, and with the help of a human rights NGO connected to her rehabilitation center, Mma submitted the video evidence to a legal aid organization. The case was reopened. Lawyers filed an appeal, citing new and compelling evidence. When the court reviewed the footage, the narrative changed. Ure had not acted with intent. She had not caused the fatal injury. She had panicked, but panic was not murder. After months of hearing, the court ruled that Ure's conviction was unsafe. Her sentence was overturned and she was released on time served. The day Ure walked out of prison, thinner, quieter, but alive, she collapsed into tears when she saw Mma. That moment marked the beginning of healing for them both. Mma continued with her rehabilitation and gave testimony to youth groups about the dangers of desperation, bad associations, and shortcuts. Her honesty moved people. One of them was a retired female judge who worked closely with the rehabilitation program. She listened to Mma's story, her childhood dream of studying law, her fall, her guilt, and the courage it took to return and tell the truth. After months of observing Mma and background checks, the judge made Mma an offer. She became Mma's sponsor, paying her tuition and guiding her through admission into the university to study law. For Mma, sitting in a lecture hall years later felt unreal. This time, she was not pretending. This time, she belonged. This time, she studied law, not to escape it, but to uphold it. Mma often reflected on the cruel irony of her journey, how she has lost herself to fear and desperation and almost destroyed another person's life in the process. Yet, through truth and courage, she found her way back, not as the girl she once was, but as a woman shaped by consequences. For Uri, she rebuilt her life slowly, carrying scars, but also wisdom. Freedom did not feel like victory to Uri. Freedom had not erased her past. Ure found it difficult to fit back into society. Friends had moved on. Some were married. Some refused to speak to her at all. Ure did not return to the university. That dream was gone. Instead, she chose a quieter path. She trained as a vocational instructor, teaching young girls basic life skills through a non-profit organization that supported women affected by crime. She spoke in schools, not as a hero, but as a warning. She told them the truth. One bad decision can erase years of hard work. Choose your friends carefully. Don't chase what destroys you. Years after her release, Ure's family began to heal. Her siblings returned to school with confidence. Her mother laughed again. Her father held his head a little higher. Ure never pretended her past didn't exist. She lived modestly. She avoided flashy lifestyles. She valued peace over appearance. Ure lost her youth, her education, and her reputation, but she gained wisdom the hard way. And in the quiet of her new life, she understood a painful truth. Some lessons come too late, but they can still serve others.